It's the cinematic event of the decade, and this is 31 details that you might have missed in Avengers Endgame. Now, first up, we won't be revealing what happens in the end, who wins or loses, if anyone dies, or what the plot of the film is. Instead, we will be focusing on Easter eggs, details, things you might have missed, and what the possible tie-ins are to Marvel's upcoming TV series on Disney+. But we will be issuing a spoiler alert because it reveals details that happen in the film. Right, strap in because we have a lot to get through. First up, fans had hoped that the classic Marvel post-credits would contain some callback to the shawarma scene in the first Avengers movie, or something that links to Fantastic Four or X-Men, as Disney purchased 20th Century Fox and will retain the rights to some of the characters. But there are no post-credit scenes in Endgame. Instead, we're treated to the Marvel Hammer logo with a single loud clink sound. This might be a direct callback to the sound Iron Man makes when he first casts his helmet all the way back in 2008's Iron Man. This would be a fitting tribute to the hammer strike that sparked 22 movies over 11 years. Or is it actually the sound of a bell to toll all the characters that have been lost? Have a listen for yourself. Having worked as executive producers on Community, the Russo brothers are no strangers to having actors from the series pop up in their films. Look out for Yvette Nicole Brown in a lift with a security badge, and Ken Jeong as the guard of a lockup. Jeong is also reading the book Terminal Breach, which has some parallels to the mass loss of life in Infinity War. The Russo brothers love to slip in TV and movie references. Endgame is no different. A scene where Hawkeye runs from enemies, as shown from the trailers, appears to be a direct shout-out to the tunnel scene in Aliens. Also look out for shout-outs to Die Hard, Hot Tub Time Machine, and The Big Lebowski. Listen out to a reference for cheeseburgers in the movie. It's a reference to the Iron Man scene, where Tony Stark returns from captivity only to immediately demand a cheeseburger. It's a fun nod to actual events in Robert Downey Jr.'s life. He claims the horror of eating a Burger King meal whilst on a drug-fueled drive snapped him out of his addiction and sent him on a cleaner path. From the trailer, we know that Hawkeye is mentoring his daughter at archery. Almost in passing, he refers to her as Hawkeye. This will delight fans of the female Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, in the comics. Will we be seeing a female Hawkeye? Later in the movie, Hawkeye is involved in a street fight. You might recognise the actor he's up against as Japanese movie star Hiroyuki Sanada. Right, thanks to the Disney Plus announcement, we know of several post-Endgame spin-offs. One of these is with Falcon and Winter Soldier. In the movie, Anthony Mackie's character Sam Wilson inherits Cap's shield. We know from the comics that Sam becomes Captain America and that there have been multiple Caps over the years. So is it possible that he might appear in this role in the upcoming series? Speaking of Disney Plus, we know that a Loki series is in the works, as is one with Scarlet Witch and Vision. Although it's unclear as to whether these will be prequels or follow the events of Endgame. Scarlet Witch certainly gets her screen time in Endgame and reminds us of how powerful she really is, deserving of the solo series. Stan Lee's cameo is as good as we hoped. In the 70s, he's driving a car while shouting, "Make love, not war." Both the number plate on the car and what he's saying have significance here. Liberal-minded Lee was assigned to the army aged 19 in World War II, but used his comic book platform later in life to comment on the Vietnam War, student protests, and political activism. In the film, we get to see Pepper Potts in the rescue suit. Now in the comics, Tony builds this suit for Pepper. A photo of this was leaked last year, so fans were expecting Potts to be battle ready. At one point in the movie, an all-female lineup including Pepper Potts, Nebula, and Okoye take on enemies. This is a direct reference to the series A-Force with a lineup of She-Hulk, Dazzler, and Medusa. It might be a heavy-handed feminist moment, but it certainly reminds us all of the female heroes in the MCU. The number A113 makes an appearance yet again in this movie. Disney fans will be familiar with this number from nearly every single Pixar movie. It refers to a classroom number at the California Institute of the Arts. Speaking of numbers, whilst leaving a message for Pepper in space at the film's start, Tony says that it's been 21, no, make it 22 days that they've been lost in space. Endgame is the 22nd movie in the MCU. And numbers again, when Thanos has gone to planet 0259-S, the Avengers try to find him. The number 259 might refer to Avengers Volume 1 Edition 259, which heavily features Captain America and Nebula. In a pivotal scene in the movie, Black Widow has a callback line to Budapest from Avengers.
Budapest all over again!
You and I remember Budapest very differently.
Budapest is a thread that goes all the way through the MCU, with Edwin Jarvis meeting Anna there. Even Nick Fury's backstory has him retrieving CIA information there with Escobar. And in the Iron Man 2 video game, Pepper Potts even makes a visit there. Co-director Joe Russo has a cameo in the group therapy scene in the film. Joe has had cameos in all of the Avengers movies he's directed, even appearing dead in a tub in Civil War, so look out for that. Hail Hydra! This phrase is uttered by Captain America at one point. It's a shout out to the controversial comic Captain America Steve Rogers 1, where Cap has a darker story arc, which fans have got hyped over. In a laboratory scene, we also hear Toby Jones's voice off screen as the evil Arnim Zola. It's here that we get a glimpse of the original Ant-Man comic helmet lying on a table whilst being attended to by Hank Pym. Loads of Marvel movies show a character losing an arm. Now, this is actually a reference to the Luke Skywalker hand chop in Star Wars. In this film, Nebula corrupts her metal frame when she half burns off her hand. Near the end of the movie, keep a lookout for Ty Simpkins from Iron Man 3. He's the kid Tony is stranded with in Rose Hill, who snaps him out of his anxiety attack, and he makes a brief cameo in Endgame. Insider confirmed this. Also, look out for the gift that Pepper gives Tony Stark in Iron Man, proof that Tony Stark has a heart. It was used when Tony collapses in his home and needs a quick fix to his core being compromised. Watch out for the name Morgan. In Infinity War, Tony says Morgan is the name of an eccentric uncle that Pepper had. In the comics, it's a name of a cousin Tony has, who schemes against him to try and take control of Stark Industries. It's the name of an important character in Endgame. In the Iron Man movies, we repeatedly see Tony Stark on a Rolling Stone cover that says, "Tony Stark wants to save the world." It's a nice full circle moment then that he contributes towards doing that in Endgame. Viewers might feel a little deja vu when listening out to some of the MCU's most quotable lines. The Captain America line, "Don't do anything stupid until I get back. How can I? You're taking all the stupid with you," makes a return, as does, "I could do this all day." There are also some location-specific lines to look out for. Cap revisits his conversation with Spider-Man in Civil War, saying, "Hey Queens, what's up?" In the earlier movie, Cap had told Peter that he was from Brooklyn. Also, Tony refers to Doctor Strange as the Bleecker Street Magician. Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum was on Bleecker Street in NYC, and they used Bleecker Street as a nickname for him twice. We also get a mention of Black Widow's dad's name. This character's past has been shrouded in secrecy, but revealing the name of her parents could lead to a more fleshed out backstory when her solo movie arrives. One of the final scenes of the film alludes to Captain America's ability to wield other weapons. There's a callback to the moment in Age of Ultron, where Cap just manages to lift Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. It's a Steve Rogers we're familiar with from The Mighty Thor and Fear itself, and it proves a real treat for fans. We fittingly end on Captain America's backside, which fans went wild over in the Endgame posters. The Russo brothers are known for fitting memes and jokes into their movies, so the joke about Captain America's butt being America's ass will be a delight to some fans. Of course, there are tons more references that we could have put into this list, but these are some of our favourites. Think we've missed anything? Comment below. We fittingly end on Captain America's backside, which films just talking about someone's bum.